So this is another project in Malibu that they were doing a complete remodel of a home. They had this, like you said, this niche area that they modified a little bit. It's got over 300 bottles in here. The framing was all in place. My guys came in and insulated the walls. They did the green board. They installed the cooling system, and we also provided the racks and the door for this project. So our guys need to put a vapor barrier in place, and we also have to insulate the walls. So there's two ways of doing that. There's normal insulation, or there's a spray foam insulation. This project had plastic and insulation as the vapor barrier. And then we use a green board to finish it off because it's a little moisture resistant drywall. And before we close those walls, we have to put electrical in place for the cooling, for the lighting above, and the LED accent lighting. So this was an LRC unit. That's an RM 3600. Even though these doors were dual pane glass, which is way better than single pane glass, you still have to take that into account when you're doing a heat calculation for a room, so that the unit, the cooling system is not working, overtime. But as you can see, there's a grill on the inside. So the cooling unit is actually hidden behind that louvered grill that we built to hide it in place. This is it's called a rack mount unit. There's different styles. There's ducted systems. There's also softened in systems. But this one, we didn't have room for all that, so it had to go on the wall. They also wanted to show off more bottles with that horizontal display. And then on the two side, these are called lattice racking. So you can see the 3 sticks where a wooden case can sit in place, or bottles can just be stacked. But it's a way to save money as well, instead of having solid wood there. They also had a need for storing, so I gave them a little cabinet there with glass on it. These are oversized doors. I believe they're 42 inches wide. They wanted the visual look of glass instead of going with 3 panels. So whenever I'm doing wood glass doors, it's always going to be dual pane glass. Glass is beautiful, but it's not necessarily a friend to a wine cellar. Heat penetrates through glass. The R value in single pane glass is practically 0. The dual pane glass moves up to like an R4 to R5, which is big. It really helps, believe it or not. But like the walls are at minimum R13 to like R25. That allows for the cold air to stay in place. In the initial startup, the unit will take some time to get down to temperature. But when they load up the wine cellar with bottles, those bottles get cold. The unit will only turn on probably when the doors open and hot air rushes in. Again, this is a knotty alder. And the reason I use alder is it stains really nice. The cooler unit's been installed. It's been initially tested, but it's not on. We recommend, or I insist that when they're loading the cellar, that the unit is turned off. When the doors are open and the unit's running, the unit can actually freeze. So I tell them to turn it off, load up their cellar, and then they close the door. I turn the unit on for them. But I also have my refrigeration tech come by and show them how to use the thermostat. They get a walkthrough from my refrigeration guy to make sure they have a good understanding how to use the cooling system. They also offer a warranty. It's a yearly maintenance program. I recommend that whether they buy the program or they call up to have somebody come in and do a maintenance on the system. It's always in the heat of the summer when they get all the calls to come out and take a look at units, and because nobody's serviced them for maybe a couple of years. And usually the problem is the condensation lines sometimes get clogged because they have hard water, and that's usually the issue. I typically ask them, obviously where the location is. Is it off the main entrance of the house? So then I'll ask them, is this going to be a showcase design, or is it going to be a storage situation? Usually it's a combination of both. They like having a focal point, something that catches somebody's, their friend's eyes when they walk into their home. I'll ask them, is capacity an issue? They may already have 300 or 400 bottles or whatever amount. So of course we want to try and reach that amount plus room for growth. So those are the initial questions I'll ask. I mean, of course, then we'll get into it further. And I always, I don't even ask if they want a cooling system. I'm letting them know that they need one, and then they'll just absolutely tell me if they don't want one. But I always include it when I'm talking to the customer, and I let them know the temperature is going to be kept to. Do you collect red wines? Do you collect white wines? When I throw out those questions, then they'll usually just start talking, what they do, what they like, how much they drink. Believe it or not, a lot of customers don't even drink. They just like the option of having this value-added cellar to their home.